Have you ever gotten right to the very edge of a huge success, a massive achievement, and then you just stop? It's a surprisingly common thing. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into the hidden psychology of why we self-sabotage right when we're at the finish line. So let's just get right to it. Why on earth do we do this to ourselves? I mean, we put in all the work, we get so close, and then we just stall out. It makes absolutely no logical sense. It's super frustrating. And, it happens way more often than we like to admit. Now, the knee-jerk explanation, the one everyone kind of reaches for, is the fear of failure. And yeah, it makes sense, right? We're afraid we'll mess it all up, that maybe we're not good enough, that we're going to fall short. It's a simple, powerful story. But what if it's the wrong story? Okay, let's really sit with this quote for a second because it completely flips the script on how we think about self-sabotage. The whole idea here is that what we're actually afraid of is something much deeper and way more complicated than just failing. And boom, here it is. This is the big reveal. The real roadblock isn't the fear of falling flat on your face. It's the fear of flying. The deep, hidden anxiety isn't about what happens if we fail, but about who we might become if we actually succeed. And believe me, that fear of changing can be a much more powerful anchor. So, if we're not just afraid of crashing, what are we afraid of? Let's get under the hood and see what's really going on. The source material points to 6 really specific psychological reasons we slam on the brakes just as we're about to accelerate toward our goals. All right, so here's our roadmap for this. First, we're going to tackle that deep-seated fear of losing who you are. Then, we'll explore this weird paradox where your identity gets all tangled up in the struggle itself. After that, we'll get into the surprisingly common fear of being truly seen for your results, not just your potential. We'll also uncover the mental trap of pre-living your success, the paralysis of seeing it as some final irreversible decision, and lastly, that powerful unspoken fear of just outgrowing your world. So let's dive into that first one. First up, the fear that success is going to fundamentally change you. And this isn't about being scared of gaining something new. It's a terror of losing something really precious, the person you are right now. And this is where your subconscious mind kind of plays defense attorney for your current self. See, you might consciously want that big promotion or that huge break, but deep down, your brain is worried. It's picturing you becoming, well, that person. Too busy, too distant, maybe too focused on work instead of people. And to stop that from happening, it creates resistance. It feels like self-sabotage, but to your brain, it's just self-preservation. Okay, let's build on that with our second reason. And this one is a real mind-bender. What if the goal isn't actually the goal? What if the struggle to get there has become your entire identity? I mean, think about it. The hustle, the late nights, the whole story of being the one who's building something, that becomes who you are. Your entire story is the chase. So the moment you actually catch it, that story ends. That character, the striver, the dreamer, poof, they're gone. And your brain, as weird as it sounds, can register that success not as a win, but as a genuine loss. All right, this next one is a big one, especially for all you overthinkers out there. It's the fear of being truly seen. It's that feeling of stepping out from the comfortable shade of potential and into the bright, kind of unforgiving spotlight of actual results. See, as long as you're working on it, your potential feels infinite. It's all what ifs and some days. But the second you succeed, that infinite potential collapses down into one single finished thing, a thing people can see, critique, and judge for what it is. And suddenly, there are no more excuses. You're not hiding behind the journey anymore. You're exposed. And for a lot of people, that is a terrifying thought. Okay, reason number 4 is this subtle mental trap that is incredibly common. We don't just daydream about success, we live it out in our heads so completely that we actually trick our own brains into thinking it's already happened. So here's the crucial point. This isn't just visualization. It's like a full-on mental dress rehearsal. You feel the applause, you hear the praise, you experience all the relief and excitement. The problem? Your brain gets the emotional payoff without you taking a single real-world action. And when it's actually time to do the work, the drive is gone. You've already gotten the dopamine hit, so why bother with all the hassle? This brings us to the 5th reason, and it's a classic, perfectionism. It's when we see success not as just another stepping stone, but as this final concrete monument that we have to build absolutely perfectly on the very first try. And if you believe that every single choice is permanent and totally irreversible, of course you'll overthink it into oblivion. Your brain's logic is actually pretty simple. It's saying, hey, it's way safer to just stand still than to take one wrong step.
And so you get stuck in planning mode forever because you can never be absolutely 100% certain. And that leads us to our final, and maybe the most deeply human reason we stall. It's that quiet fear that achieving your goal will actually cost you your world, your people, your comfort zone, your entire sense of belonging.
At our core, we're social animals. Our environment, our friends, our routines, that's our anchor. But success, well, it often requires a new environment. It might mean new habits, or maybe even drifting away from people we really love. And deep down, a part of us weighs that cost and decides it's just too high. We don't stop because we lack ambition. We stop out of a powerful loyalty to the life and the people we already know.
So, after unpacking all 6 of these hidden fears, where does that leave us? Well, it all points to one big thing. We need to completely redefine what success actually is. And here it is, the crucial shift in thinking. Success isn't some perfect, permanent state you finally arrive at. It's a messy, living process. It's reversible. You're allowed to make mistakes, you can change your mind, you can try again. It's built on a foundation of small, imperfect actions, not one giant, flawless leap. And once you really get that, all those fears we just talked about, they start to lose their power. So I'll just leave you with this question. Forget about the fear of failing for a second. Instead, ask yourself this. If you weren't afraid of the person you would become through your success, if you knew it would only make you better, stronger, and more yourself, what would you finally let yourself start today?